Yeah, peoples are still joining. We will wait for 5 to 10 minutes.
Hello, Dr. Manthan. Viraj
Hey,
here.
hi Viraj. How are you?
How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting on this webinar.
My pleasure. My pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm good. Your voice is coming low. Is it just for me, Dinesh, or it's for you as well?
Yeah, its voice is low.
Is it
So,
better now?
um,
Uh, s- Still the same.
Is the voice
But
better?
no, I think it's
no,
it's
no.
yeah, it's coming the same.
Okay, give me a moment. Let me
Sure, sure.
my headphones. Yeah. will ask Dinesh. Let me know if this is better.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, this is better.
It's better. Yeah.
So we'll wait for some time. People are joining in,
Sure,
and then Dinesh will start the introduction, and then we can take it from there.
sure. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I think we can start now. Uh, so,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
So
let's get started,
let's start.
Dinesh. Yeah,
Yeah.
people will join in.
Uh, yeah. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Joining us in this webinar. On behalf of Nirmiti, I am delighted to welcome you all in this session on why digital infrastructure is the biggest bottleneck in the pharma innovation. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce my company, Nirmiti. Nirmiti is a healthcare-focused technology and solution company specialized in healthcare AI solution, product engineering, and healthcare interoperability. We work closely with healthcare organization, pharma, and medtech firms to design and build scalable, compliant, and future-ready digital solutions. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Manthan Mehta. Dr. Mehta is a physician and healthcare innovator, advisor, mentor, and speaker as well. So working in various intersection of medicine, technology, and human behavior. He has spent the past few years exploring how AI creates meaningful impact in patient care, especially in areas such as patient engagement, and chronic disease management. Beyond his clinical and leadership experience, he actively works with digital health and AI first solutions, and also give mentorship to health tech founders, as well as conduct AI workshops, uh, and help other clinicians as well. He regularly share his insights on healthcare innovation, digital transformation, and ethical AI, as well as the future of care delivery. We excited to have him with us today. So thanks once again for joining. And now I would like to invite Dr. Manthan Mehta to take this session forward.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Dinesh. Thank you,
welcome.
Nirmiti, and thank you, Viraj, for extending this invitation. Excited to be here. And I think when you work in pharma and healthcare, you are very used to, starting things with disclaimers. So I'm going to start with a disclaimer that, some of the things that I might say about digital transformation or about the ground reality may sound controversial or look in a way that, oh my god, is this an expose? But I'm going to speak from shared and learned experiences, right? So let me just share my screen. So today's topic is very interesting, and it is something that we have been saying and reiterating time and again that the bottleneck, the real bottleneck in pharma innovation is digital infrastructure, and how and why is something that we're going to try and decode today. And we're going to talk a little bit from the AI hype to the execution reality perspective. So we're going to go around this for around 30 to 40 minutes and then open it up for questions. And while I'm talking, if you get any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and we'll address them towards the end of this session. So let's start with this, right? Pharma has never had more innovation tool. Uh, and I can go back a decade and tell you that, what we have today is phenomenal when it comes to technology, when it comes to innovation too. But the part in red is what concerns us, right? That very little has actually changed on ground. Now, if we look at how pharma used to operate, how digital work internally as well for approvals, etc. We have come a long way, right? We've come a long way from email-based documented approvals to most pharma companies developing in-house systems or using external vendors where you are able to track things. When it comes to insight generation, when it comes to field force excellence and utilization of tools for them, again, over the last decade, we have made a lot of progress. And today we top it all up with AI, and things have become really, really easy. But if we look, a little bit deeper from the surface, we will figure out that nothing significant has changed on ground, and we are still facing multiple challenges, which we had faced a decade ago, and all of these innovation tools have not really solved the complexities but may have added a little bit to that. And a major reason for that is, of course, the topic for today, right? The big bottleneck. And this is not an AI problem. When we talk of today, the entire excitement, the whole hype and buzz is about AI. And I recently read a meme on LinkedIn where all the top CEOs were talking about okay, these are issues today, and they were like, okay, let's put AI there. And they're like, what do you want to solve? They're like, AI will figure out what we want to solve, and AI will solve the problem. So I mean, that's of course on a lighter note, but genuinely, it is not an AI problem that we are facing in pharma. While, of course, pharma carries the bad repute when it comes to tech events. And I was at one of the tech events where they said that, quote unquote, they said pharma is like a dinosaur when it comes to technological advancements. And of course, we take it personally, but the fact is in a way right? That they are the last to adopt things when it comes to technology, and there are a lot of valid reasons to it as well. But a major reason is also an infrastructure problem, which has not really been developed, been foreseen, and built in many ways, right? And that's what we really need to address. So let me tell you my story. Dinesh gave a very nice and kind introduction of me, that I work with AI, and I spent some time in my life building an AI solution, and being closely related to the pharma industry, having spent a considerable amount of time there. We built a solution that was trying, I mean, of course, a patient-centric kind of solution, but aimed to be sold to pharma. And real story, yeah. So we rolled it out. We put it out there that we have this solution, put it all across social media, reached out to contacts within the industry, and what I saw was crazy excitement. I think within a week, and if I maintain a charter of leads that I have on me, I think I had more than 40 leads within a week, for the excitement of what we were trying to build within this pharma space and what it is. And every demo that we did, or every discovery call, as we would call it, that we did with each of these stakeholders in pharma, uh, there was a lot of excitement. Yeah. Uh, Whether you're pitching it to the commercial teams, or you're pitching it to the medical teams or the safety teams or the digital teams, if some companies had those, I think there was too much excitement about it. And it leads, that excitement tells them, okay, let's get on, let's try and do a pilot. Now, this is a major concern when we talk of pilots, is that the way pilots are designed, particularly within pharma, they try and do pilots which are not so much in the real world. Uh, to give an example of the solution we were building, and maybe I can tell you a little bit about that so that you get some context for this story. So it was a kind of an AI agentic flow, WhatsApp based, kind of a one-on-one counselor that patients get for complicated therapies. Yeah. For either complex therapies where they require a lot of guidance from the doctor, and the doctor in India, of course, is not able to give so much time. So they get counseling support, and eventually builds to medication adherence, helps them build their lifestyle, caregiver support, all of that, everything embedded into one. Now, and this was, white labeled on the name of the doctor, right? So it goes as the doctor's care team, and that is what used to kind of tick with the commercial leaders, that this becomes an engagement medium for doctors, because the adaptability for patients is much higher when it goes from the doctor's name. So the way they structured pilots was that, we will go to our 20 best doctors or 10 best doctors whom we have great relations with, and we will set up this QR code of yours there, and we will initiate them. When they went and spoke to the doctors, they said, we will, you please select the right patients for this. Now, that's not exactly how the real world works, right? You will not get the best people to utilize your platform. You will not to onboard on your platform, right? You cannot have such a controlled state. And this kind of a controlled state and these optics and figures that you're getting from these pilots are not going to reflect the real world. But the pilot will look like a grand success, right? And that is what happens, right? And happened. So the pilot was a grand success, and then we decided that, like, let's optimize this for scale, and now let's roll this out to 100 doctors in one team, or let's roll this out in three different divisions within the pharma company, and that's where the entire problem started. Now the infrastructure friction begins at varied scale. First, is who is taking ownership within them to own this now. Second, where is the data going to flow from? Where are we going to collect that data? Who is going to be the guardian of this? Where is it being stored? Third, who is going to own and provide us, the right systems to integrate this? Whether our internal IT teams will provide us some kind of a platform. Do we integrate it into that? How will that data that comes in flows back? uh, and that kind of a friction really deters from taking up any of these models to scale. And while we thought that there is an error, in terms of adaptation or in terms of companies not moving beyond a successful pilot, and a core reason, when you dig deep and speak to people, it comes out is that it is an infrastructure friction. So for people who try it also, it fails when it is done at scale, because it was never working that way, right? So the entire AI model or whatever you are building works well, but because the system doesn't work very well, it causes a great degree of friction. And this is one of the major reasons why a lot of initiatives don't see the light of the day, or are then deemed as quick failures. To give you an example, when I was on the other side, I was on the pharma side, and we had a third party vendor who was working. Again, it was through, there was a pill box. Every strip came with a QR code, and that QR code, took them to a platform where they got some amount of digital therapies. And we had a very successful run initially, and within the first 6 months we saw tremendous success, because quick early onboarders were there, and then we decided, wow, this has worked well, so let's extend this beyond 6 months. And the moment we started extending, we figured multiple challenges. One key challenge, was that whatever was being reported, in terms of safety, in terms of, because it was a digital therapy, patients were also talking sometimes about their side effects or other things. And pharmacovigilance is a very important aspect, right? You need to really report drug safety, and none of that information was flowing in, and all of that was getting missed, and it became a major red flag. Then when it came to data that they were utilizing and using, the firewalls that were there within the data that they shared with us, and we could not then share it across teams in different formats, because you cannot expose certain teams to certain kind of data. And all of that led to a major issue. We couldn't scale it up, and eventually in a couple of months we had to kill the program. So the infrastructure friction is real, and I will dive a little deeper also into these aspects of what it is, and then maybe later we can hear from the audience as well if they have some kind of a experience to share. So this is what it actually feels like on the ground, right? One is that data exists, but not where you need it. If you look at the amount of Excel sheets that are there in every individual working in the pharma company, you will get lost. There is tremendous data. There is no dearth of data, and sometimes we talk that, okay, there mustn't be enough data, and that's why today, in today's day and age, you talk of AI models working or not working. because the data is not there. But the problem is not the existence of data. It's about where the data exists, where it is lying in those folders with individuals in different sheets, in different aspects, in different formats, and none of them is, in a way in which it can really be utilized to take it to the next level, right? Insights exist. So a large, domain of every industry is to collect insights. And in pharma, HCP insights, patient insights, insights from other stakeholders, regulatory. Also, you need a lot of them. If you look at all platforms today, whether internal or external, everybody uses the field force, MSLs, and all of them to collect insights. You get insights, you get through consulting agencies, through primary, secondary research. All of them exist, but they don't translate into action because they are all again lying in individual platforms. You have a platform for the field force where you have HCP insights that they have collected. You have another platform where medical has collected their insights. You have slide decks that have come from research agencies. You have slide decks that have come from consulting firms, and all of them are just lying in different places, discussed in a call like this, said, oh yeah, I see, we need to do this, we should, we not, this is where we are lacking. But when we really see, a lot of them don't translate into action. Systems exist. If you see what I started with, that today, the kind of innovation that pharma has, the kind of systems that are there, they are amazing. Okay, you have systems for events, you have systems for raising activities, you have systems for approving promotional literature. Today with AI, you have systems that create those literature, you have systems that check that literature, you have all of that. But still, systems don't really talk to each other. A lot of companies implemented these AI platforms, like they integrated Microsoft Copilot with them. A lot of them have taken GPT with GPT Enterprise. A lot of them are taking Cloud, Anthropic. All of these are being utilized by all companies. They are all paying for enterprise versions of it, paying per seat and in different ways. But even within that, the major problem we see is that people are not able to utilize or close loop it, and it remains being utilized for generative activities like emails or checking a few documents, or maybe creating slides, or putting in formulae in Excel, etc. Because a lot of them are really not talking to each other. I'll give you an instance of a very recent thing where we thought we want to build a co-pilot for the medical affairs function in a given pharma company. And when we spoke to the CIO, he said that the kind of data that is there on your drives is none of it is in a very usable format. It is very scattered. It is huge. It is large. There is no distinction between what is dated, what is outdated, and hence we will not be able to integrate this in terms of a full-fledged system, right? Another very interesting example I uh, had experienced personally is that when it comes to safeguarding and cyber security and firewalling, about uh, what all people can access and cannot access from a company system. Um, a lot of journal websites got into the firewall, including large ones like Nature, including guidelines, including NCCNs, and all of that, right? Because again, you try to safeguard a system too much without talking or understanding from every stakeholder whether they need this or they don't need this, and hence it doesn't talk to each other. Lastly, tools also exist, right? But workflows don't change. What I mean by that is people have invested a lot. Pharma has invested a lot in getting different tools being made for each of their problems that they face. To put in transparency, to build in compliance, to enhance speed, to put in all that productivity, but workflows don't end up changing. So the way the workflows are designed, none of the tools are able to change that in spite of that. And that is why a major reason that happens is that when every new tool is brought in, all most internal employees face a lot of friction because the workflow remains the same and the tool becomes like an add-on burden, and hence a lot of it goes underutilized. So great tools have come up, great platforms have come up, but because workflows are not changing, they're not adapting to the tools, so the utilization drops, or you're not able to extract the most from that tool, and then you feel like, oh, this was simpler to do it in Excel, or this was simpler to do it over email, and this is taking away so much of my time because you have not overall changed the workflow. The moment the overall workflow changes, the entire friction breaks, and the productivity or the utilization of the tool can go up to 100%. So these are some ground realities which I'm sure all of you must be facing, either one of them or all of them, day in, day out. And what I like to call this is a system failure, and it is a system failure layer by layer. And when I look at these layers, I have divided the system failures into four layers. One is data. Data has to talk into your systems, right? And then you have decisions, and then based on that, you have action. Data, like I said, there is a huge structured, unstructured data mismatch, right? Uh, some things are existing in PDF, some on email, Excel, slides here and there. Everything being stored in a very different way, and availability does not translate into usability. So a lot of data is available. There is no dearth of data in pharma. It is a data-driven approach. Every team goes through reviews weekly, monthly, and they keep updating sheets, they keep updating portals, they keep updating systems. But again, none of that is always structured. So there is a huge mismatch in structured and unstructured data, and hence all the available data may not always be usable, right? And that causes a big system failure. Uh, Another thing which we keep hearing within pharma and pharma leadership is that it's an industry that operates in silos. And when we talk of silos, I think it's taken quite seriously, though a lot of them talk of cross-functional teams and collaboration. But if you actually look at the way systems operate, there is a lot of isolation, right? Clinical development is doing something else, medical is doing something else, commercial teams are doing something else, regulatory is doing something else. All of them are isolated in buckets. There have to be, of course, firewalls because of compliance, but that does not always remain. And because of this isolation of systems, because of all of these silos, a decision is never taken in a collective way, right? And more often than not, within pharma, integration is the exception and not the norm. Where you really need an integrated approach, it takes a long while to go through that integration, to break those silos and then have information which is free flowing, to be understood by each stakeholder. And when it comes to decisions, and this I'll tell you, we experience this a lot from the other side. So, actually, sometimes we see all of these things while we are within the system, but we get a more clearer perspective of how it is breaking or how it is actually affecting a lot of decisions is when you are on the other side. So when I was trying to sell to pharma, what I figured is that, everyone touches data. We did demos with medical teams, we did demos with their commercial team, we did with IT, digital, patient safety, you name it. I think there have been companies where I have done demos with more than six functions. Okay, and the major challenge that came out from there, and while earlier initially I thought it's like they're just passing the buck because they don't want to give us a contract, but digging deep, I figured that the problem is that the ownership was not designed right. It was uh, who will own this initiative, or who will own the data, or who will own this key decision, and hence it keeps breaking in many ways, because when you're trying to build that system, when everybody is touching that data but you don't know who owns that data corely, uh, it again does not get into any action, right? So That's why the next layer which fails is action, because things are captured, everything is there, but you're not actioning it. Feedback loops don't exist within those systems, and insight does not lead to any impact. And that's why it fails layer by layer. So then, a lot of you will tell me that, and like I started with that joke about top CEOs saying that, get AI to find the problem and get AI to solve the problem. The reality is that AI doesn't solve infrastructure problems. Rather, it exposes them. And right from my own examples that I told you, as well as many other platforms that we are looking at for integration for various other needs, we are seeing that the harsh reality is coming out. For example, one expectation is always there that you want to add tools, right? We recently launched a tool for activity requisitions, right? Tons of activities happen, right? There are camps happening, CME activities happening, sponsorships happening, third-party events, ISPs. Pharma is filled with events, right? Sometimes I joke with people that it actually is like an events company. Right? There are so many events that people do. And to integrate all of that, put them all in one place, because earlier what was happening division wise, they were being happening on Excel, there were ARF forms, hundreds of documents, everything is scanned, everything is existing on emails, and then you have to keep putting all of those emails on cloud to then access it, and you don't have clear data. So you need to bring one person's only job was to collect all of that, whatever is coming, and then build sheets around it. But again, you don't see things in real time. So we built a real time tool. Okay, the real time tool allows you to add documents, allows you sends it to the right people for approval, gives you options for reconciliation, gives you options for a lot of things. Now, when it was manual, a lot of things were added, were understood, were done in different ways. The moment it became as a tool, uh, there were tons of challenges. I think we took 2.5 months to really roll out, and there are still issues that keep breaking, because there are a lot of places where certain information is was okay to be given later, but now when it is a tool, that information may become mandatory, or that given contract or a given information or a sheet, hundreds of things that you're uploading or putting in, you're not having the requisite information at that point. When it was manual, it was easy to like get it done, or upload that document on email later and add to the chain mail. But that doesn't happen. So it adds a lot of complexity. This is one example, simple tool, but still adds a lot of complexity. Many such examples, right? Then there's an expectation always that build AI into this, and trust me, the from both sides, yeah, when I was building AI to when I was working on the other side in pharma, you see, there is always that thing, okay, just build it, why don't you have an AI for this, why don't we have an AI for that? The harsh reality was that when you build it, it shows that it exposes a lot of broken data. To give you an example, we had got a request from one of the companies when I was building in AI to build a solution that picks into the transcripts of their calls. So they had a call center for queries on one of the complex drugs that they had launched, and they were getting a lot of queries around it, and were those queries needed to be actually structured, and one was drug safety was one idea. Pick up any insight or any patient information that was being missed otherwise. And they said we want to build AI on this. Now, when we actually said, okay, we'll have to see your data and understand what is happening, we figured that, they are not getting queries just through a call center. They are also getting queries on email, which is not going just to the query address, which is going to two, three different addresses, then probably being pulled in or being forwarded in different ways. They are getting queries on the call, they are getting queries on the website bot, and each of those queries were really not talking to each other. And so when we said if we build for one of the systems, say we build for the transcript, we build for this, we will need the information coming in the same format, in the same way, or in a similar way. And that really exposed the system of broken data that what you're getting from one platform is not really the same with other, and you've really built an AI and now it's picking up wrong information. And broken data gets exposed the quickest when you build with AI. So and we started with that, right? That data exists in pharma, but we don't know where it exists. Another very common thing that pharma does is build dashboards. Now, they love doing it. I don't know if there was a Power BI course that they all did, or they believe that dashboards solve a lot of information. Now, in more often than not, the readability of the dashboard, the kind of information that goes, the updation of the dashboard, etc., in reality has only led to delaying decisions. The idea of building dashboards is to put it quickly. And even when all of these are there and then they're presented in review meets, etc., you see that a lot of information is not there. And then they say that, oh, this one we have it in Excel separately. And then, the commercial heads will say, okay, show me the show me that Excel rather. And that updation of dashboard, timely feeding of data within it is again not happening in the right loop, because again systems are not really integrated, right? And because of lack of integration, the dashboard shows you only very snapshot views, which eventually leads to delayed decisions, right? And the expectation always is to fix inefficiencies, right? Okay, people are not efficient, this is not getting efficiency. But in reality, it starts exposing. The moment you build AI into something which is inefficient, it's going to expose what all inefficiencies that are there, right? Like I gave you that example. And a large number of people did that, right? They built digital teams, large digital teams, saying, okay, everything digital should go through them. What it really added up was it created new silos. And again, face this firsthand, where you go through commercial, then to medical, then the digital team comes into play, and then they have another new structure that comes in, which again is not talking to the other structures, and eventually lands up creating a lot of new silos. So I think there is a massive investment that companies are doing. There's a massive expectation, but unfortunately, and and not to keep bogging it down or bashing pharma, I give them a complete benefit of doubt, because there are major anchors which weigh them down, and for obvious reasons, a lot of things don't move at a pace at which it should, or a lot of information is kept in silos. One is regulation and risk, right? It is one of the most regulated industries. Risk is of course life and death, right? Healthcare is comes with life and death risk, and hence compliance is always prioritized over flexibility. Things are not flexible, things are rigid, they have to be. There is a high validation overhead, right? And there is a high cost of failure. So every if something fails, the cost is not just for implementing it. The real cost is the reputation or the lives lost, or the disconnect that it would create within the ecosystem. Secondly, legacy and fragmentation. So here, it has decades of accumulated systems. So what we see today is a patchwork, right? It's a beautiful collage. I don't know if beautiful is the right word, but it's a collage of all these different systems that have been built over the past, and then you build on top of it. So it's like you sew or stitch a garment, and you stitch from one side but don't stitch from the other layer, and so the layers below keep having holes, and on the surface it starts looking like it's clean and nice. So that's what is happening, right? And this is leading to decades of these accumulated systems. Most of the architecture is vendor driven, so you get one system built by one vendor, then you go to another vendor because they were cheaper, or you felt they were more advanced, etc. And now they are building on a different architecture. So both those things again are not talking to each other, right? And there is a lot of technological debt because of M&A. lot of mergers and acquisitions keep happening within pharma, right? Small divisions, they separate, they acquire, etc. And each of them come with their own same debt, and which keeps building the tech debt. And that whole legacy system is a big burden, right? And pharma works with functions, does not work with flows. So there are very hard silos between each of these functions, and there is no end-to-end operational ownership. So everybody is only doing one part, right, of what they have to do or what they have to initiate, approve, work on. And there is nobody who's owning this end-to-end. And that's where I think this notion came of bringing in digital teams, which ended up at a lot places being more project manager oriented rather than actually ending the operational ownership. Again, they were all stuck, they are still stuck within each of these silos that are there. So uh, to give you an example that why we can't do this. Okay, there is a data issue across the country, across systems, across everywhere. But let me tell you that we do have a strong backbone, right? If the national scale, if we see, we are building the ABDM. India is a global pharma manufacturing leader, right? Huge. What we do is we are the pharmacy to the world, and even otherwise, we have successful large-scale digital infrastructure. If you look at UPI payments that the entire world talks about, right? That India has this, and we've been able to build it. We look at the Coven app, for example. Very in recent times, we've been able to build large-scale digital infrastructure that has been successful tremendously. But when it comes to internal operations, we still fail because we are okay with that fragmented data. We are okay with low interoperability. We are okay with what is being underused, etc. Because you're trying to then stitch them together in a way which is not again that's what's happening. So it's not that we can't do it. We've been able to do it in a messy system like the national system. And if you say UPI or other things, banking was not an easy system to work with and develop in this way. So it's never been easy, but we've been able to do a lot of things at national scale where things were messy. So internal operations, I think here it's even easier to do because you don't have that kind of an heterogeneity in many ways. You can solve for it very easily. You can get people to do those things. So so I think we need to move in today's AI hype world is from intelligence first to an infrastructure first approach. AI is not a magic wand which is going to solve everything if you've not built or solved for the basic infrastructure first. And this is how I like to look at the pharma digital readiness stack. What I call it is that data is at the bottom of everything, right? You need everything is built on a foundational data. What is very important beyond that data is the connectivity, how that data is interlinked, how the connectivity is established, and how you're able to integrate it, and governance on it, right? So the governance on the data, the governance on the integration, on the connectivity. If any of these layers are not working correctly, whatever AI or stack you put on it, it's not going to work. So if these layer fails, automatically intelligence goes away, right? So built on these, after governance will come your AI, which you build on it, and then it comes to the execution stage. What is happening today is that without solving for the three pillars that you have on data, connectivity, and governance, we are trying to build on AI and then saying that AI is failing or execution is failing. So I think this can be a better approach if we go through this, and if we have to fix this foundation, because like I said, if data is inconsistent, everything breaks. Integration without control, as I like to call it, is chaos. But control without integration leads to friction. So you need all the three pillars, which are very consistent. The foundation layer has to be strong. This is where the digital infrastructure really lies. But unfortunately, people have tried to put in AI quickly on the data itself without connecting it, without governing it, or they've added too much governance or control on it without integrating the data itself. Right? So and we need to bridge to impact, right? That your insight and all insights that are being collected throughout within the industry by all the functions of pharma will matter only if it changes action. So you get a lot of insights within people, within teams to solve. And the point is that algorithms must integrate into daily workflows. So just building that AI or telling, okay, we have this tool, use it, or take care of it. Why are people not working with it? Is because they don't integrate into daily workflows. And dashboards, which we are all a big fan of building, must drive specific decisions and not just display metrics. So today it becomes more of an ornamental tool, but that will not work. Really need to have action to get things going. And so, how do we rebuild, right? We spoke a lot of where the bottlenecks are, what is causing problems, and what is going wrong. I think to rebuild, we need a bottom-up approach and not a top-down approach. So, typical approach that like I told you, everybody says just build AI. Instead, a better approach would be to build workflows. Typical approach is to add tools. A better approach would be to integrate the systems rather before adding a tool. Uh, we always say we'll run a pilot and then see if it works or not. I explained to you how pilots are very well designed. So a better approach rather would be to design for scale. So simple thing is to start with one workflow, establish a clear ownership on it, reduce the duplication around it, design for integration, and then measure the adoption from it. What happens is that people don't start with that one workflow. People try to pinpoint the problem, saying, okay, is it a data problem, is it a people problem, is it a execution problem? But you look at one core workflow, establish the right ownership, and reduce duplication, because you'll see a lot of duplication otherwise, which keeps happening. Then you design for integration and then see if there's adoption or not for that one workflow. If you try to build for 4 or 5 workflows together or add some tools here and there, it is going to just again be on top of each other without really strengthening the base layers. So I think to conclude the presentation, I would like to say that winners won't adopt AI fastest. They'll rather build systems where it actually works, right? So with that, I'll open it for questions.
Okay, so yeah, we will proceed with the question and answer. So first question is from Kritika. So
Mhm.
he is asking like many pharma companies are investing in AI and advanced analytics, but still fall to move beyond pilots. In your experience, what infrastructure gaps usually stop these initiatives from scaling?
Right. No, very, very good question, and good observation as well. This is actually what is happening, that people are doing a lot of pilots and then nothing is moving beyond. And infrastructure gaps, like I said, are at multiple levels. One is at the ownership level, right? That who is going to own after that pilot is over or where it works. Two is integration within the infrastructure, which is a major infrastructure issue. If I tell you, is integration, integration of whatever platform you are doing the pilot with does not integrate fully with their systems. A, they have firewalls. B, they have a lot of legacy architectural burden. So the entire digital architecture that is built in ways in which it is not scalable in many ways, and hence they do a pilot, and then once they try to figure or integrate those issues, a lot of things break. And once they start breaking, and then leads to again a lot of complexities within the system, because data starts flowing, data gets scattered. So that is one key issue. One is the tech infrastructure, which is the architecture, if you talk of it, is not really conducive to adapt to most of the things. Two is data at scale or system level at scale. So when you beyond the pilot, when you try to scale it up, that again starts failing, because the structured, unstructured data, and all of that starts flowing into these processes. So because they don't exist in a unified way, there is no unified flow and structure to things. That is why a lot of it fails. Another reason, which may not always be well documented, is that people have done pilots, and then maybe after doing it, companies or people have realized or figured that this we need to probably sort our systems first and then come back to them. But by the time they sort it, they miss the bus. So that could be a reason.
Yeah, okay. So, next question is from Prachudaya. When pharma leaders think about digital transformation, they often focus on tools and platforms. What should they first fix at the infrastructure level before adopting next technologies?
Right. No, very, very well said. Good question. Yes, leaders always talk of adding dashboards and adding tools. I think they don't see it from a workflow lens. And a lot of it happens because they are a little away from the ground reality. In leadership, we talk of this principle that you are sometimes you have that 36,000 feet view of the entire system, and then you don't see that there are lacunae, right? You will see that beautiful forest if you're looking from the plane down, and you will not be able to see what each a few huts here and there, or a few problems here and there. So I think what they really need to see is the end user workflow, and people don't see that. And we see this with every tool that gets deployed or gets adapted, that has to undergo significant revisions after it is deployed or after it is piloted, because a lot of key stakeholders are not taken into consideration, and each function has a different way of doing it, the uploading of for the end user, the usage that the person is going to do. Now, a lot of tools in pharma are being built for reps, to improve field force productivity, do that. A lot of them come back to us and then they tell us that, this is really, taking 3x of my time just to put that in the system, which used to be a much easier format there. Now, without really involving that last mile, the last person on the ground who's going to use that tool, uh, and just making something from a pitch deck and a high level visibility view is what is causing the problem. So just throwing tools, throwing AI is not going to solve it. What needs is an understanding of where the workflows are breaking, understanding what data you need to unify, and that will then lead to a better adaptability or adoption of any of these tools.
Yeah, I think Prachudaya will got the answer of his question. Uh, so another question is from Abhinav. What is one example of a pharma team that has actually solved this well, and what did they change first? Data structure, workflow, or ownership?
Okay. Good. I think a good question. I'll give you from a example that the teams I worked with. I can give you examples of from better from there. Is we built a system in Novartis called P3, and that was an entire end-to-end integrated platform for approvals, be it for events, be it for promotional materials, be it for activities, and for everything. And what they built in that, with a lot of transparency, with everything, was real time kind of update and flow which you could see. I'm sure I was not a part of it when it was built. I came in later when it was implemented, just implemented. But what I hear and understood from the teams there in the backup is also that they took into consideration every person who's going to use that kind of a tool. So they solved for again data first, saying we need to put all of this, upload each of these things, unify the portal, and then build on it. Then they built on it for different inputs. Another, I think, example that I've seen is again with what Viva tries to build, and then they give it to a lot of companies to integrate or utilize on their own. where they start building for each of those issues. The problem, whatever occurs because of unstructured data or because of lack of unification, they try to solve it by making it more and more seamless, by everybody trying to use one common platform or one common domain that then feeds into each of those functions, each of that information, which can then further be taken forward. So most of them, I think, have tried that have been successful, have a tried to unify data in the best way, and b tried to solve the workflow silos.
So one more question from Avinash. I think the follow-up question is that, like, does pushing AI too early risk positioning sensitive data, a compliance gap, or governance weakness that organizations have not fully addressed?
Absolutely. I think 100%. I think pushing AI quickly is going to lead to all of this. And
Yeah.
the moment you have integrated in it, and because a lot of it is not closed loop, puts you at tons of regulatory risk, tons of compliance risks, and a lot of it, and liability, because eventually then pharma becomes liable for what they have used and exposed. So it does, and hence there should never be a blind push for AI, because we have to stop looking at it as a magic wand and push it for every problem to solve. All of these gaps are real, and the price for these are going to be humongous if not used responsibly.
So yeah, so I think we can conclude this webinar. Thank you so much for joining everyone, and especially thank you, Manthan sir, to take this session. So if
Thank you. My
any other
pleasure.
questions are there, yeah. So any other questions are there, we will coordinate with your email ID.
Sure. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great evening. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Manthan.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Everyone.